Okay. You're on mute. Okay. And I'm gonna let everyone in now.
You can spotlight Kedra.
Okay. Spotlight for everyone, and I'm gonna let everyone in now. Okay.
Yep.
Welcome, everybody, early risers. Well, the nice thing about doing this time of year is you don't have to get up that early, but thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. I just wanted to say a couple things about the precepts. So, because we have the text to go through as well, I don't know how much time Geshe will have to explain. So basically from 24 hours from, I guess, about 8 o'clock, that means that after you take your main meal before 12 o'clock. Geshe said it's okay if you sit down at 11:30 and you finish at like 12:15 or something. That's not a big deal. And then after that, you can have clear juice, water, even tea and coffee, as long as there's not dairy milk in it, is okay. So you can take those afterwards. And then by sort of 8 o'clock the next morning, you can kind of go back to your regular activities. Somebody asked also about how this ritual is taken, and like when you receive this from the teacher, does that then mean that you can take it yourself? And that's correct. So you receive this the first time from a preceptor, for example, today, and then whenever you have, the occasion and the wish to take these precepts on your own at home, you can. All right, so I'll invite Geshe down and we'll get started shortly. Geshe just making his frustrations and we'll get started. So good morning, everybody. Can you see and hear me all right? Okay, great. And Geshe Chichip. Can you hear Geshe? Okay, great. So Geshe is greeting all of the Dharma friends this morning.
Oda teringanzo tani sonji lalapapi tishe ta tishe ta chembong energy hale netsuchires.
So on this day of Lhabab Duchen, the holy day of Buddha's descent from heaven, we are taking these precepts, and this day is a very holy occasion.
Oda sonji korogata ta amazo shibigata senje mombo jigata la do tindrigata pugeta ndivitenda ane la yele penela ta chigishawa pasusuba donela zombalila tikati dila kange chembo jiwar teneta dirigiti se kange mevi tise hale nyamashawa nuji unetsuchires.
So then this particular holy day relates to a day when the Buddha ascended to the Deva realms, to sort of God or celestial realms, in order to impart instruction to the beings there, and in particular his mother, so to benefit beings in the Deva realm. And it is said that also while he was there imparting these teachings, there were problems that became to manifest in the world. And then when he descended from the Deva realms back to the world, there was, like, many of these things were pacified.
On zombalila ta sonji ya maresen konzo kecha duja mombo chadiwa kange mombo chadiwa ta kange te mewa chane ta unyamashawi ta nyamashawa nuji.
Yeah. So when in the Buddha's absence, there were many people who were saying the Buddha is gone and he was not here and so forth, and there were many sort of calamities that took place. So on this day when he returned from the Deva realm, it was said that it was like the sun was once again shining across the world, and many of these obstacles were pacified. And so today, as we go through the ritual and so forth, we should do this with an attitude of gratitude for the Buddha's great kindness and maintain mindfulness of that. And Shakyamuni, Buddha's kindness is unfathomable. In fact, it is said that the future Buddha Maitreya, when he comes to this world, one of his characteristics will be that he has a small stupa, sort of at his crown level. And actually the small stupa that Maitreya has at his crown level is as a remembrance of Buddha Shakyamuni's kindness. So because there is so much benefit that comes from the study and the practice of the Buddha's teachings, as a way to kind of pay homage, to remember that kindness, we see this iconography with the stupa at Maitreya's crown.
Oh, ta ke jamo mandu ta tringanzo ta rungi te pusuba yenji te pusuba chabala ta shonji sema nga se de shonji sema ma chabala ta mandu ta tiche ta le ka chi yo isa da bingun ni is.
So then thinking as we engage in the activities today, not only engaging in these activities for our own welfare, but also engaging in these activities for the welfare, for the benefit of others, and then think on the Jiangxu Senpa Mato Karisenso.
Nga se de shonji sema ma so tila cha to ma manyen nga se de shonji sema ma chabala ta mandu.
And the only way for me to really be able to actualize that welfare is actually to become a bodhisattva.
Oh, ta tindi ji ta ga bi ngone nganzo sa so so gndo jino kala ta so suji choden de zo shibe jawa se do je bata de jino kala yo so ma ko yares.
So as we go through the ritual too, we want to be able to visualize in the space in front of us Buddha Shakyamuni, and also, if possible, Buddha Shakyamuni in addition to all of his children, the bodhisattvas and the other holy beings in the space in front.
Oh, ta ngaro ina ye ta no ta shukel de ni te ten ji tun la ta. And so
Geshe, as the preceptor, right, before transmitting this to all of you, he also did this visualization, and he went through the rituals of reciting the vows himself, and in this way he's able to bestow it well to you.
So then
think we are not just engaging in this practice for some sort of small goal, but actually for the ultimate vast goal. And in this way, we will begin with the preliminary prayers. So we'll go to the prayers for the teachings first, and we'll recite the praise to the Buddha. the mandala offering and the refuge, and then we'll turn to the Sojong ritual. Tenpa chom den de chenpa dra chom ba yang da ba lo be san ge re ba dang sha su den ba deva rishe ba je de ge ba ge bo be ka lo la na me pa la na me la ge de ba song ge chon de el ya wa sha kya du pa la cha zen chen du kya tsu ji no Tenpa chom den de te shi she ba da chom ba yang da ba zu we san je re ba dong sha su den ba de wa she ba she den chen ba che bu de we ka lo ju wa la na me ba la da mi nam ge tenpa san je jo den de pe ja wa sha kya tu pa la cha se lo che de kya su chi o Tenpa chonden de te she ba da chom ba yang da ba zo be san je re ba dang sha su den ba de wa she ba she den chen ba che bu de we ka lo jo wa la na me ba la dang mi nam gi tenpa san je chonden de pe ja wa sha kya to wa la cha se lo che de kya su chi Now the mandala. So ji pu jo shi me ro ro ne me yo mama da Idam Guru Ratna Mendala Kamyatayami Refuge and Bodhicitta
Song je je
Chidam
dang zo
Sogi
jo
Chinam La Chang Chu Bardu Tani Kya Tsu Chi Dagi Chinye Gibe Sunam Ge Jola Penchi Sangye Drupar Shu
Song je je
Chidam
dang zo
Sogi
jo
Chinam La Chang Chu Bardu Tani Kya Tsu Chi Dagi Chinye Gibe Sunam Ge Jola Penchi Sangye Drupar Shu
Song je je dang
Chedam
zo jo
sogi chenam la jangchu pardu dani gyatsu chi dagi chenyin gi be sonam gi jola penchir songi drupar shu.
야, 다 동복게 뭐 막아지. 아니, 야, 소지 조된 조 시베 자와시도 제만도 좀 가르주야 반나라 대바 진비거니 다 되게 너무 많이 비싼로 야바시다 쇼스.
So then Geshe won't say much, but just to set the motivation in the beginning, we imagine that the Buddha is in the space in front of us, surrounded by the bodhisattvas and a vast assembly of holy beings. And gazing upon this field, we then bring forth the uncommon Mahayana refuge.
이제 너무 많이 미션 저 질른다. 이지 전부 조지 야래. 어때 여바 누지가 다스. 로아를 주고 생제 요절함이다. 이지 전부 가제 다다시다.
We know that one of the causes of the uncommon Mahayana refuge is karuna, great compassion. And so as we contemplate the 6 types of sentient beings within samsara, a vast field of beings, bring forth a feeling of compassion for them.
그래도 니가 가네 다 코와 제동지 발에 타와시 발라 다 동부소소 수지 맞춰 발라 타만도 대이자 다 나세대야 다 송질이야 로토바서 이 sombietoni 쇼니스.
So then we think that ultimately we want to be able to free all beings within samsara from suffering and the causes of the suffering. But right now, and in my present form, I'm not able to. I will only be able to fully benefit beings in this way when I achieve Buddhahood, complete enlightenment. Therefore, think, may the I, may the self, reach this state, actualize Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings, meditate on bodhicitta.
이 쳇더니 다들이 가서 봐봐 대체 소주고 넘바 다 레기 소마치.
And as a cause to be able to reach that aim, for this reason, today I am taking the Mahayana one-day precepts. So we'll pause there. So we'll turn now to the Tekshen, the Tekshen Sojong text, so the Mahayana precept text, and we'll begin on page 13 with the 7-limb prayer. Thank you so much. Yep, perfect. 고승급 백원의 저승 의상의 주제 오메서 뇌도나제셔 개하게 와 나라제 고라 So we'll go to page 15, I believe, Abhilash, for the ritual.
오다 코로나라 요아르 먹게 도다 다 아니 먹게 되시고 요아르 내들지시고 요아르 아까서 매번 와야 된다 오다 디소이나 먹게도 마트도 내요 뭐 미투ян도 와스 어때지 간가 시기된다 손은 자침부터 그 요아르
So we want to kind of bring forth a really vast aspiration as we kind of take these precepts through the ritual. And Geshe said one of the things that we can think about is the current situation in the world. It's so clear that there is so much war and conflict in the world, so much disease and illness and poverty and suffering in the world. So kind of using that as a vast basis of motivation to think it is for the purpose of completely pacifying all of those sufferings that I am engaging in the ritual.
오다 거기 그다 강에 뭐 지미 그 토양 뭐 요아르 되지 조시 비다 강에 제도지 바바 매번 와야 된다.
So taking those kind of sufferings of samsara that we can see with our eyes and understanding that there are also many more, to think through practicing these precepts, may all of these sufferings along with their causes be completely purified. And for those of you who have previously received the Bodhisattva precepts, and perhaps those precepts have degenerated, imagine that through this Mahayana one-day vow ritual that we are reviving and purifying those Bodhisattva precepts. So as you may know, monks and nuns have a sojong ritual, which is to purify any of the monastic precepts that may have been degenerated. It is actually said that this one-day Mahayana vow ritual is like a sojong practice for holders of the Bodhisattva vows. So it helps us to revive Bodhisattva vows that may have degenerated. And so then also, we imagine that having a kind of received this ritual and revived those vows in the presence of Buddha Shakyamuni and the other holy beings, we then kind of bolster our resolve to improve our guarding of the precepts. So as we go through the ritual, you'll see that there are 8 objects of abandonment. In other words, 4 things that you restrain from doing, 4 root and 4 branch. And in addition to that, there is a commitment to maintain a vegetarian diet on the day one receives these precepts. Loso. So then Geshe is just laying out what these precepts are. So then the first of the precepts is the abandonment of killing. The abandonment of killing. Tambo kandeslogore sea mi sea. Nipadi. Second is taking what is not given. Sorry. So killing, refraining from sexual conduct, refraining from taking what is not given. And telling lies. So those are the 4 root. And then in addition to that, refraining from alcohol, but Geshe says generally refraining from any intoxicating substances. Refraining from staying on high seats or high beds and so forth. Kala, yes,
Dice 많이.
not eating at an improper time. So after the noon hour.
걔들 지시 소설 산다고 그러다.
아니 디젤라.
디마이미스 리스마.
Yep.
아니 뒤도 치와 예르지.
And not wearing any ornaments, jewelry, perfumes, and so forth, flower garlands, and so forth. And that's because this leads to an increase in attachment and the other afflictions. And also refraining from singing, dancing, and entertainment. So those are the things that are to be avoided with these precepts. And so Geshe said, you might be asking, why is he sitting on a teaching seat? In fact, in the commentary on the precepts, it says, except for the purposes of Dharma, sitting on a high seat. So this is just temporary for now while he gives the precepts. So Geshe said, if you look at the text in the commentaries, you'll see that it's without a Dharma purpose sitting on a high seat. So those are the four root and the four branches of the things to be avoided. And of course, as Geshe mentioned, we do this with a kind of great aspiration that this becomes a cause to be able to achieve Buddhahood, enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. And so then imagine that as we engage in these precepts, we do this in the presence of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, of the holy beings. So imagine them in the space in front of you. And so then as we turn to the first page of the ritual, so if we bring up the page of the ritual on the screen. So yeah, go one page down. So you'll see in the beginning, right, it has all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions, and it also has Master, please pay attention to me. So Geshe said that today, because you're receiving this from him, you'll recite the second of these, Master, please pay attention to me. But when you do this at home on your own, after you've received these from a teacher, you would recite the first, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So what's going to happen is you are going to repeat what you hear after Geshe, and thankfully we have the English translation up there, so hopefully you can also know what you're repeating. So repeat after Geshe the best you can.
Lobe gonsu so Jitar ngengi Deji sheba Drachomba Yondaba Lobe songje Tachungshi tabu Lombo chenbo Jawa shishi Sheba Lombo chenbo Shawa sheba
So this, Geshe said, when we talk about the wise horse, the great elephants, and so forth, this is to remind us to to remind us to abandon the afflictions. Lay down the burden. This is to lay down the burden of samsara, lay down the burden of cyclic existence. To be able to bring forth the kind of best attainment or welfare. To not only eliminate samsara, but also the imprints of samsara completely. Semshin Tamji Gi Dungi Chirtang Pempa Jawe Chirtang Roa Jawe Chirtang Mugi Mepa Jawe Chirtang Ne Mepa Jawe Chirtang Changshu Gi Chogi Chenang Yongsu Zoba Shawe Chir Lana Mepa Yondaba Zobe Jangshu Du Nepa Tubi Chir Sojong Yondaba Zeba Dejindu. So just as that vast assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas preceded and then achieved enlightenment, so we too will follow their example.
다 소소 밀라가 다 민도
So you say Da Mindu and then you say your name. So I'll say Kedrup and you say your name.
다 민 시지 좀
Shiji Chong.
딘딘의 쇠대
Didini Sungde.
손님마 마샤저 바다
Sani Nima Mashagi Bardu.
세제 돈제제 된제 셔동
Senshin Tanchigi Dundu Chirtang.
펜바샤이 셔동
Pemba Jawe Chirtang.
로아샤이 셔동
Joa Jawe Chirtang.
머게 메바샤이 셔동
Mugi Mepa Jawe Chirtang.
네 메바샤이 셔동
Ne Mepa Jawe Chirtang.
손주지 쇼저
Jangshugi Chogi.
치노
Chino.
요서 조바
Yongzu Zopa.
샤이 셔동
Jawe Chirtang.
라나 메바
Lana Mepa.
용다바
Yangdapa.
두비 손주의
Sobe Jangshudu.
네바 두비서
Nepa Tobe Chir.
소종 용다바
Sojong Yangdapa.
롱아 저거
Longwa Jiho.
어달래 도모선에 레니바 영아지 지딘 제바셔
So that's the first. Now we go to the top again for the second recitation.
로베 공서서
Lopen Gonsu So.
다른 겐저
Jidar Nungi.
대지시아바
Dejin Shepa.
다좀바
Rachompa.
용다바
Yangdapa.
두비 손지
Zobe Sangye.
다중시
Dachangchi.
다중시 다버
Dachangchi Tabu.
다중시 다버 사케자 뭐야 된다 딱 마시레지 저바지 다 따지 페네라 뭐뭐뭐 지바 근요다 첨보 찍은 거는 샤비 로지요 아레스
So Geshe said the white horse is actually an allusion to the holy being Avalokiteshvara, who in one account he appeared on a white horse as a rescuer from calamity. He was able to pacify a great calamity.
어다 디 뭐지 그것을 다 강해져 더 년벌레 비가르는 플라이 루텐라고 지가
Yeah.
근데 따지 내 그래 텔레스는 텔라 주나
Yeah.
아니 야보질 텐도 그래
And it is said that when that in the prophecies, when this being appears on the white horse, if you are able to keep that white horse with you, all kind of disasters will be dispelled.
가시 따이 톨레데 가시 따이 nga마는 전에라
No,
Mama.
listen.
Ale.
Ale.
아니 그래서 따이
Ale. And so then this horse could also lift up and rescue people. And it is said that some people kind of grabbed on to the mane of the horse and some people grabbed on to the tail of the horse. And in this way, they were able to be with Chenrezig lifted out of the disaster.
어다 자와스도 지바가 senje 요주게 된다 든지자 레카치가 아이자 다 나로서 다 대노지 지기
So just as the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas continuously engage in the activities aimed at the welfare of all sentient beings, so we too will bring forth this kind of activity.
다중시 따버
Dachanggi Tabu.
롬보 쳔보
Lambo Chempo.
샤와시시
Jawa Jeshin.
제바
Jeba Jeba.
그르보와
Kur Borwa.
용거대 지서 토바
Rangi Dun Jesu Topa.
디바 건도 jowa 용서 세바
Sipa Kundu Jorwa Yongzu Zepa.
용다비까
Yangda Beka.
레바 넘버 트이 투
Lepa Namka Drowe Tu.
레바 넘버 트이 시라제
Lepa Nampa Drowe Sherab Chin.
대다기
Dedagi.
세제 통제제 된지 셔동
Senshin Tanchigi Dundi Chirtang.
펜바샤이 셔동
Pemba Jawe Chirtang.
로아샤이 셔동
Joa Jawe Chirtang.
먹게 메바샤이 셔동
Mugi Mepa Jawe Chirtang.
로다 되는 먹게도 마주도 내야라 다 강가 용거디 왔어
So you see, Geshe says here, it comes to eliminate famine, to eliminate wars, and so forth. So this is very much a wish that is part of the practice.
먹게 메바샤이 셔동
Mage mepa jawe chitang.
네 메바샤이 셔동
Ne mepa jawe chitang.
경주지 쇼제 치노
Jangshu gi choki chunang.
용서 주바샤이 셔동
Yongsu zoba jawe chitang.
나나 메바
Lana mepa.
용다바
Yangdapa.
루비 쇼주에다
Zobe jangshu du.
녜바 또비 셔
Ngepa tope chir.
소종 용다반 자바 대저다
Sojong yangdapa jeba zeba dejin du.
다 민다
Da mindu. So say your name. Kedrup.
시제위 좀
Jijiwe chong.
딘드네 주데
Didune zunde.
손님마 마샤저 바다
Jisi sangi nima mashigi badu.
나나 메바
Mari
세제 통제저
Semshin tamshegi.
된저 셔도
Dendu chitang.
펜바샤이 셔도
Pemba jawe chitang.
로아샤이 셔도
Rowa jawe chitang.
먹게 메바
Mige mepa.
샤이 셔도
Jawe chitang.
네 메바
Ne mepa.
샤이 셔도
Jawe chitang.
손주지 쇼저
Jangshu gi choki.
치노
Chino.
용서 주바 샤이 셔도
Yongsu zoba jawe chitang.
나나 메바
Lana mepa.
용다바
Yangdapa.
루비 손주에다
Zobe jangshu du.
녜바 또비 셔
Ngepa tope chir.
소종 용다바
Sojong yongdapa.
노아 저거
Langwa jiyo.
어, 다 레니 바선에 레스비 탈더니 다 다시 야 대지 소주가 담았다 나는 야용다 바지 토송 삼바다 가고 그 야레스
So this is the second recitation. We'll now do the third and final recitation. And at the conclusion of that, one thinks I have perfectly received these one-day Mahayana precepts, and one brings forth a joyful feeling.
다 로베 공서소
로벤 공수 소
기타랑 연저
기타 연기
대지셰바
대신 셰바
라종바
라종바
용다바
양다바
두베 손지
두베 선제
다중시다바
다정기타부
umbo
람보 쳔보
자와시시
자와 제신
셰바
셰바 셰바
거르보와
거르보와
롱게데
랑기든
지스토바
제수토바
시바 건도 조와
시바 kundu jorwa
용서 세바
양zu 세바
용다비카
양다베카
레바 넘바 조이 투
레바 넘바 저웨 투
레바 넘바 조이 시라제
레바 넘바 저웨 셰랍진
대다게
대다기
세제 통제제 대제 셔동
심신 탐식이 든드 지당
펜바 샤이 셔동
펜바 자웨 지당
로아 샤이 셔동
로와 자웨 지당
머게 메바 샤이 셔동
무게 메바 자웨 지당
네 메바 샤이 셔동
네 메바 자웨 지당
경주지 쇼지 체노
장쇼기 쪼기 쳔나
용서 조바 샤이 셔동
영수 조바 자웨 지당
라나 메바
라나 메바
용다바
양다바
두비 상주的
조베 장쇼드
네바 두비 셔
네바 도베 지
소용 용다바 제바 대저的
소정 영다바 제바 제베드
다미
대신시 대신도 다
다민다
민드 and then say your name kedrup
시제이 좀
jeji kyong
딘드니 zude
didni zunde
손님마 마샤저 바다
jishi sangi nima mashaki badu
세제 통제제 대제 셔동
simshin tamsheki dungi chirdang
펜바샤이 셔동
pemba jawe chidang
로아샤이 셔동
rowa jawe chidang
머게 메바샤이 셔동
mugi mepa jawe chidang
네 메바샤이
ne
셔동
mepa jawe chidang
종주지 쇼지 체노
jangshuki chuki chino
영서 조바샤이 셔동
yangsu zopa jawe chidang
하나 메바
lana mepa
용다바
yangdapa
두비 상주的
zobe shangshudu
네바 두비 셔
ngepa tobe jir
소정 용다바
sojong yangdapa
롱와 저고
langwa ji o So think through receiving this ritual, if I've previously received the bodhisattva vows and they have degenerated, that now these vows are perfectly restored and purified.
가시 매바 이나에 다 넘바 더바지 다 존재 심비가 지 조언하고 다 알아야겠네 도시 선박을
And if the bodhisattva precepts has not degenerated, think through receiving this Mahayana sojong, then those bodhisattva, the bodhisattva vow is made even stronger and becomes a powerful fundamental cause for bodhicitta.
드리기 디세텔 다 손지가 리스 아니 존재 심비 쿠스 리스 시에서 선바다가
Think today I have joined the lineage of the Buddhas and I have joined the lineage of the Bodhisattvas and bring forth a joyful feeling.
타이노
So Geshe says tapino and then you say legso. So legso.
다야 보시소 어세요 단딩 같은 거 저도 빙와 지와 때때 진행해야 되는데 그러와
So then the next part of the ritual, it involves the, if we go back to the ritual page, please. Can we bring the page back up on the screen, please? So then if we go down, there should be a mantra. Yes, this mantra. So Geshe will recite this mantra and we'll recite along with him. Namdesho. Om Amoga Shila Sambara Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Pama Vibho Shuddha Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha Om Amoga Shila Sambara Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Pama Vibho Shuddha Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha Om Amoga Shila Sambara Sambara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Padma Vibhushita Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha. So Geshe said normally it's 21, but we still have the other transmission left. So we'll settle for 3. So the next prayer, so it is go again. So the next prayer down, please. Jimgi Sujimgi
Shemeji Tsudu Noba Tato de
Losamebe Sujimgi Tsudum Paro Shinzo Sho. So we are dedicating this to the perfection of ethical discipline.
다 domba legi in so domba len no ji so legi on da tari domba lemiti de in mi lol gu yare te ka chim bores
Lola Gugirisen?
lol sho
Oh, Lola Shuba. So Shunaya.
yeah
So Geshe said, okay, wow. So he said that when you take these on your own, you actually need to you need to memorize the ritual to take it on your own. That was a shocker for me. So actually, yes, you should memorize the ritual to take this on your own.
자 디디서 에테즈가 당연히만 라가스.
Yeah, so he's going to, there's a very short verse through which one can take this ritual. And Geshe, that should be easy to memorize. So Geshe will share that at a future time.
대마도 돈발렘비치 강가 롤면에 돈바 용거 말해서는 기도 좀 못지게 소치 못 수요하레스.
And actually, the reason for this goes back to one of the two principal disciples of Lama Tsongkhapa, Kedrup Rinpoche. And he said that when precepts are transmitted, then these must be transmitted by memory. Otherwise, they cannot be received.
다 어투나 더니 호다지 알다지죠 이제.
So Geshe said, of course, if one is really not able to memorize, then perhaps there can be a special kind of dispensation where one reads. But really, you're supposed to memorize.
다 부자제트 맞지 되기요레서.
Yeah, so then Geshe is going to recite the verse of the abandonments. So what page are we on? No, it's not there. If we go up, no. If we go up. Yes. This is the one. So the prayer to keep the precepts. So these are the things to be abandoned.
데네 소지 마샤시.
Dene soshi michashi.
코로로시 와콘조.
Oh, so Nyamdu Cherong Gijera. So you have to repeat after Geshe.
데네 소지 마샤시.
Dene socho michashi.
현재 노용 노마샤.
Shingi noyang long micha.
이비 치죠 마셰지.
Chipe chuchang michashi.
전제 치죠 마마고.
Zindi chuchang mimao.
자와제테레스.
So those are the four roots.
시는 몸보 녀템베.
Shini mambo nietempe.
코노 용서 뽕와샤.
Chane yongsu pangwaja.
공부마테레스.
So this is abandoning intoxicants.
저때체도 마샤시.
Chitang cheche michashi.
저도 대체 뭐다 더.
High bed seats and so forth.
대제 디마 임비시.
Deshin duma impeze.
난 연기자 갈라사야 되레스.
Not eating afternoon.
대제 디마 임비. 지도 청와 제도는.
Chidang chengwa jedang ni.
가도 러소 뽕와샤.
Gadang luso pangwaja.
대제 수제 라소 뽕.
So go down.
지다다죠. 그래.
Down. Yep.
지다다죠 또다는.
Jida dachu tadu
말은
ni.
말때 좀 지도 청와 그래. 지다다죠 또다는.
Socho laso mite.
지다다죠 또 그래서 라가를 와서 지다다죠 또다는.
Jida dachu tadu ni.
수제 라소 아니
Mijetar.
마시에 따라
Socho laso mijetar.
라면 쇼주 녀토쇼
Mare. Deshin socho laso.
대제 수제 라소 뽕
Deshin socho laso pang.
라면 쇼주 녀토쇼
Lame jiangchu nyoto sho.
능아 모춘지 된다
Dunge mandu jikten du.
시비 촐레 도와쇼
Sipe zole drowa sho.
오다티 부자티 지테바레서 내가 뭐게야 돼
So those are the objects of abandonment of the precepts.
오다 알타기 팅이네 좀 뒤지는데 그러 천지스지다 이는데
So Geshe said he made an error. So he's memorized all this, right? So he said, actually, the mantra is normally recited after this prayer. He doesn't think it's so important, but ideally you recite the mantra after the prayer.
오다티 제달렌 디바친 대신 뭐가 자마가와지 하고 살아 따도 롱보체세 대한테 오늘 코로 나포 자키가 된다 가리이나 코로
So the image of the white horse and elephant, these are really a recollection of the bodhisattvas and kind of an embodiment that they can manifest as whatever form or riding whatever form is most beneficial for all sentient beings. So Geshe said that we will now transmit a prayer to kindle the three kinds of faith. So the prayer to the 17 Panditas of Nalanda. So Geshe said that on this particular occasion, there won't be time to give a commentary of this really, but he will transmit it today, and he hopes in the future to, from time to time, give commentary on this. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama composed this prayer, which is recollecting the kindness of these great Panditas, then having recollected these kindness, offering homage and prostration, and also making requests. So Geshe is reading from the text now of the 17 Panditas. So listen attentively. And so perfectly arisen, Geshe said that first sort of word, perfectly arisen, this means perfectly arising for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Rola peje tujera trebe puno shoba choni la yela tenju tonjon ronen rono denze piton mai nyamangi sha cha ta suji choden de la sha cha wa
So
kere
the first verse is prostrating to Buddha Shakyamuni.
ota kanga la ge mendin men ge molo do so shi bi kanga yo are ngaman de ris
And Geshe said that then we see as we go to the next verse of various other beings, but mainly to Nagarjuna. He appears at the end, but he's most important.
jaye gunde tata tenyi de tenju ri ze same sakhe ba jaye lu je techo amen son denze lodo sha la songwan de desi to keshi zhi chu shano ta ja ze phata se lodo yun ze genje zu no ba ja ze pha ba la la songwan de pha bi gong ba tenju ta de de da ye min zhu zhang ji same ne san ze zhi ba chu ge sar xie ba song ji shu ji sha la songwan de den bi ni bo xie su ta kwa ji chama thonu shide je ba yi ti so te yong zu pe zhe da lo we le den jia la song wan de dian ju jian ni ndo wa zuo ni ji ta ni si no dong a mi chen sa ji no ke dong a yong zu lo yin ze da wa zhao ba song wan de wa cha me ju ni ji qian bi lo sa dong jia qi rin ri ce no mo ki ka zo de ji cu la de ke ba jia si sha wa la song wan de ji ko je ni dong a mi lo so te ace ri chen je ki shi kai jo sa ja te pen je ba ke che sha wa chola so wan de ta ta ami ta don sha lo sun go ren do ji je de le ta ni gu ju ja te chme san je ba pe mi ngo se sha la so wan de xiong bi ji zui te che de ne ge le ba be ke ja che lo te shi ja yi lu je no ri shi de sol de je tu me sha la so wan de xing ye de ni dong so zu ni xiendo nori tata sanje pa keche nipa trabi kebe lowe inye shala songwande tuwi yulu nito ripai teshir tsemi gwaja le shen ni noche lomi yinze tsema pa lowe shuchi lumbi shala songwande shenong tsemi ne ke le gungshi dose saji lo ke rilo ni ngete meshu chitsen do kebe chiche trabi shala songwande tume keche legung sheshi te yeme tata amin soje de jenje jude nui deme pal papa trude shala songwande yimte nje la jayi lute to mopong gebi menga cheje de yes sheshi juchu sanje pe lobe senge zombo songwande mbowa ndowa mbede gunde le dini toche yeme luije soso tar mano le do teke chujere ba yedege je shala songwande la so no yete nobi zela on lute treme rinde pe le ya che yude le tan denzi chu sha cha ge je sha la song wan de tsu sa ji ka so ma le ba shi wo sen je lo don don ze de gu ju te de pe zhi je zhuo a de sha la song wan de de dan zo li jian je ke pe ba ngo cha le xin yu ne chu no la ma she tun yi je so ta pe da ji men ji zhuo wa xian ji la yin yin ne ce de ni de xi pe 대저 코완지도 제저릉에 세메 중에 샤스 대바델 탈로 자와 주바 현지로 뉴거 예시 타바 대녀위 민주 노동 로노 쇼네비 슈티对比 이지 자와지 지모 쇼선 좀바 현지로 시다 준비 윤거 대노라 티소곰비 바로 샴바동 도제 대비 산에 로컬라 네바 델로 아니바 현지로 시시샤와 라서 덴비 텔 leto xie tong zhiwi luto tel zichi pe la shita che no tong chumba ta te la shawa xie ba shu koros chumba no jingano so ta le ka xie to ba shu.
So just as they accomplish through teaching and practice, so may we too accomplish that transmission and understanding.
Bade kanda tiso xie zhe ji shayi tinda loso yong pong yin tongbi keda ra de pe wa yin zoli sa che ta den ze zhe ji 대天동강 용주 살로데 대니런데 노체 자와이 공부녀라 녀더 토저네 노가 저선도이 대시주
So in this way, we have completed the transmission of the supplication to the 17 Panditas of Nalanda. So Geshe said, if you look at this and kind of read it mindfully, you'll see that it also kind of explains all of the special characteristics or qualities of these 17 Panditas. So if you really want happiness, if you really want welfare, it's actually through studying the great texts composed by these Panditas that not only can one have the understanding that leads to one's own welfare, one will also be able to accomplish the welfare of others. And actually, the more you study the treatises of these 17 Panditas, actually, the more and more joy and the more and more confidence you will develop. The more you look at them, the more kind of trust you will have. You will not see any faults. And in terms of those who are scientists and so forth, they also see, if they are not biased, they also see tremendous qualities and truth in these amazing compositions. And also think to be able to encounter this tradition where one has the opportunity to not only study, but also to develop understanding and practice the teachings of these 17 great masters, then this is something profoundly fortunate, and one should feel very joyful. And so then all of us must try not only to keep the precepts well today, but to use this as a basis of inspiration to kind of bolster our resolve to continuously train in and improve our practices of love and compassion. This is the task of all of us. So we will now end with a happy mind with some dedications of the merits. So we'll turn to the prayers for the teaching occasions, and we will go to so you'll see the dedications on page I guess 34. Changju semjo rinpoche maje panam cheju rechi cheba nyamba meba yang gone gondo ewa resho. Next one. Tongni tawa rinpoche maje panam cheju rechi cheba nyamba meba yang gone gondo bewa resho. And 2 down. No, not that one, the next one. Jambe pao jeda jemba ta kundu sambo deyang deje de deda kungi jesu dalo je gewa deda tamshe rado mo dusun shebe gewa tamshe ge ngowa gamla chodo ngapa de Dagi gewe cawa digun pyo zambo chuji radu ngowa gi Gangri rawe gowe jingam di pendang dewa malu jongwe ne Jenre ziwan tenzin jazo ye shabe sidi badu tenjo
Nuji kangi ta yoge wa sopa to sopa ji ta tendri Nepal tene do Berlin ta mage to matu neyo ota zawani passion la ta me wa chaya.
So through the merits that myself and others have accumulated, then may all of the wars, conflicts, diseases, and tremendous sufferings in this world, along with their roots, their causes, be completely cleared away.
Nipa tendila tiene ta lali na yon da nra mo ya re o ta nge son sala ina ta she mo gi parwas te kangi ta liji kangi senji kangi ka pa shene ta deshin do ta.
So then through these merits that we have accumulated throughout all of samsara, from the suffering of the hell realms and the lower realms, all the way up to the suffering of even those in the God realms, even the suffering of the Deva realms, may all of those beings within samsara, may their suffering of body and mind be completely cleared away, and may they experience happiness.
Nona koi nei na re kon ko la ko ki kun zo yin na kanga lo pa ta zu ma cha ne la pa de ji ga ta pil pu zu ba ji le do ta.
May all of the beings abiding within samsara be purified. May the environment of samsara itself be purified. And through this, may a foundation of happiness be established. And think I am very fortunate to be able to do a practice of this, connected with this profound bodhicitta, and feel a feeling of rejoicing and joy. And think based upon this practice, I can proceed happily and joyfully with a meaningful life. So thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Lhabab Duchen. Yeah, so Geshe feels it's nice because we were able to start off this holy day of Lhabab Duchen with something very meaningful. And so also just remember that these precepts, they're kept for about 24 hours. Yeah. And these precepts we take for one day, right? But the type of mind training that we're trying to do in this context, this is something that we should be doing every day. And actually, if we know how to work with our mind, it's not this big, scary, difficult thing. It's really something that allows us to really live happily in our lives. So Geshe is going to be watching to make sure that Kedrup doesn't have any snacks after 12 o'clock. So imagine your little Geshe there watching you. Just kidding. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.